all, let me say a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of our people who are watching and listening to this broadcast throughout the West and certainly in British Columbia. And Alison, thank you so much for being a part of this broadcast. And I hope that you're able to express your thoughts and your needs and those things that you're facing, those difficulties that you're facing for the seniors. I know you're headquartered in New Westminster
Yes. Yeah.
province, and look to you for leadership, and look to you for some understanding, and ultimately lots of help. So welcome.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you for this opportunity, and I look forward to our conversation.
Well, tell me how first of all, how did your last campaign go? Do you feel it was successful?
Well, we're close to the end of it, and this year has not been as successful in previous years. And part of it has been where donors have reached out to us and said, we'd like to do more, but we have our own personal struggles right now. So we're grateful for the support we have received. As of yesterday, we were at 31,000, which is about half of what we received last year. So we are hopeful that before year end, or maybe just after year end, we will continue to receive some donations. But this year has been about half of last year, as of right now, as of today, the 22nd.
Are these donations from corporations, donations from individuals, or is it a combination of?
It is a combination of both corporations and individuals. And there's a combination of in-person, where we place trees in local community um, locations, as well as an online platform. So it is a combination.
So your biggest need today at this time of the year is to balance your budget and get to your 100% of the donations that you're looking for.
Yes, even more than balance the budget is just being able to respond to the incoming needs that we get on a daily basis. Um, just this month, we have had 43 calls from seniors who are homeless and 89 calls from seniors who are at risk of homelessness, and they were imminently going to be homeless by the end of December or the end of January. So just to be able to meet those needs, and they can vary from individual to individual.
Well, for the audience that don't really know exactly what homeless means, why don't you just explain that? When one of your people are homeless, tell me exactly what that is.
As I said, every situation is unique. Now, some examples of people that we support is an individual, increasing number of individuals who go into hospital as a senior for a particular procedure or an illness. They end up staying there for an extended period of time, maybe up to 2 months or 3 months. Typically, they are to have a discharge plan in place from the time they go in, which gets updated. What we're finding increasingly is there is no plan put in place till the date of discharge. And quite often we'll have a senior, sometimes up to 3 or 4 times a week, call us at 4 o'clock and say, we were discharged from the hospital today. And we found out that our landlord has relet our place because we haven't paid our rent. And while we were in hospital, we didn't pay our phone bill. So the landlord had no way to get a hold of us. That is a problem. And that is an increasing problem we are seeing. And that's just one example. This is often a low-income senior who lives in a rental unit. So to replace that unit is going to cost them quite a bit more.
And obviously, they're limited in their income.
That is correct. Most of the seniors we see, I would say 98% of them are either on PWD or on their income and pensions that they have, which is no more than about 23 to 25,000 a year. But predominantly, they're under 20,000 a year.
Yeah. I think I asked you this question when we were at lunch the week. Is there a minister in the government in British Columbia that is responsible for your people?
Unfortunately, in British Columbia, we do not have a ministry responsible for seniors. Most of the other large provinces, Ontario, Alberta, Quebec, have a minister responsible for seniors. We don't in
So,
BC.
so how can that be corrected?
That's a very good question, Peter. Particularly since seniors are one of the largest demographics in the province, and they cross every other group, every group, whether it's a person with disability, whether a person who is a new immigrant or a refugee or LGBTQ. We have seniors across all demographics, and that would be a critical group to have a ministry, somebody dedicated to them that would look at the nuanced pieces and the interconnection, because quite often that's where seniors fall through the gaps between ministries. So that would be a critical request or a critical hope for our population.
So specifically, would I be right to say that your responsibility is for these people just in British Columbia?
That is correct. Yes. Our senior services supports an older adult
And at
anywhere.
the moment, the BC government does not have a minister.
That's correct.
So that will be one thing that we need to address.
That would be a huge thing. That would be a huge thing.
So the people listening to this broadcast, how could they help in that matter? Who could they write? Who could they help facilitate your needs in this?
Reaching out to their local MLA.
I know, could a citizen do? Yeah.
Reaching out to their local MLA, to their local community, their cities. Every city is supporting the seniors in their own way. Some can support them better than others, more effectively, just because of the number of seniors and the challenges that they are facing, the barriers that they're facing. So just connecting with their local MLA would be a big help.
Yeah, the number of people in this province that look to you for assistance.
Over the last 2 to 3 years, on average, we get between 14 to 17,000 calls a year. Last month, we had 700 calls. So that is just our agency. Other agencies, because there's not a consolidated number from all the agencies in the absence of a centralized hub, that is a number that could definitely be substantially higher than just what we get. The Seniors Advocate's Office gets a lot of calls too, but in the absence of somebody that is able to access all of that data, that's just what we have and what we deal with.
Based on your responsibilities in British Columbia, what are the top 3 or 4 things that you need to help your organization?
Well, one of the biggest challenges, because of the large number of seniors that are low income and who find themselves in this predicament of being homeless, renters focus on rental accommodation for older adults. There's a lot of housing and there's a focus on housing with the new premier and the housing minister. But having a commitment to have housing for seniors or dedicated to seniors would be critical. Because that is the largest demographic and the number of homeless people that is increasing fastest. Every other demographic in the homelessness count has been going down. Seniors have been going up. That would be one piece. The other piece is that a lot of the support that's in the absence of affordable housing, seniors go into market housing, and the safer support that is shelter aid for elderly renters that the province is able to provide goes up to a maximum of $803, for example, in the Vancouver area. So if a person, for example, is on an income, a ministry income, which is about $15,700 per year or approximately $935 per month, they can get a maximum safer subsidy. of about up to $800. Anything over that rent is at their own cost. And most seniors on fixed income or low-income seniors can't afford that difference, because rents in the Vancouver area and in the remote areas more recently are well in excess of $1,500. And that's just rent,
But
not.
Yeah, we're not talking about food here,
We're not
or
talking about food or prescription medication or anything, or transportation. That's all over and above. It's not uncommon for seniors to have a prescription and have a lot of multiple barriers where they have the prescription, but they're not able to fill it because there's a choice of food or prescription, or food and shelter. So that is a gap. So that would be a second area. It's related to housing, but it is around a subsidy to live in market rental.
so what do the government representatives say to you when you present these problems? Do they have any solutions for you?
There's not at the present time, not a ready solution. We have received a stream of funding over the last year through Reaching Home, which has been very helpful. It is a grant, it is short term. Hopefully that could be made more permanent until housing can actually be built that is low income for seniors. But if that doesn't continue, that is a bit of a sort of temporary solution that is being flowed out right now. And it's been helpful.
Other than yourself, do you have a spokesperson for your organization?
No, that would be me. We are a very small agency. We have 15 full-time staff and 3 part-time. So it is a small agency, and I get to be the face for the agency wherever possible.
Well, at this special time of the year, what would be 1 or 2 or 3 of your big dreams, your big needs that you may have said them before, but let's use this Christmas broadcast.
One huge request would be to be able to have a dedicated housing, or focus on seniors rental housing, but it's affordable as we move forward into 2023, and with the focus on housing. In the absence of that, increase in the safer or shelter aid for elderly renters to what is supported by market, because it has been increased after many years. However, it's not realistic for what market conditions are. So that would be 2 things just in the a very short time that could be addressed.
What led you specifically to be in charge of this organization? What drives you to do this?
What drives me to do this? The biggest thing that drives me is that this is a group of people who have done so much, who've done everything that they should be doing to work, save for their retirement, and the cost of living today just outstrips their income and their savings. It is unlike a younger demographic or a youth who could take up a part-time job or a second job. Not ideal, but they have the ability to do that. Seniors are often not able to do that. Some of them can, and they do work to supplement their pensions and their income to be able to live. Not everybody can do that, and the barriers for them are quite a bit more to get into employment. So just that it's the right thing to do. There's not enough support for older adults who are low income, and they've paid it forward. It's our turn to support them in their later years. So that's what drives me.
Do you have a rough idea how many people we're talking about here, Alison?
I can only speak to what we are seeing in our agency, because, as I said, the numbers are very, very difficult to confirm since we don't have a database that records this. But just in the last month, we had 43 people who were homeless who reached out to us, and 89 who were imminently going to be homeless at the end of December or January. And with our numbers that we've seen consistently over the last 2 years, being between 14 to 17,000, sorry, I'm sorry, 12 to 14,000, that is very telling. And there, for a number of reasons, a landlord will allow senior to be evicted on the grounds that they have a family member utilizing the space, and they've actually just re-let it a few months later for a higher rent. So we're seeing all kinds of ways that older adults are being pushed out of their home, and we need somebody, we need an agency that is responsible to be able to pull all these pieces together. So that's my hope, and that's what keeps me.
You're talking about a government agency.
Yeah, a centralized agency that has the ability and the budget to be able to pull these pieces together.
Has there been someone of this nature before? Has there been a budget before, like 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Something that's just happened now?
We did. BC did have a seniors ministry, and that was a while ago. And I'm not clear as to why it was disbanded, but we did have a ministry, and we could definitely use that going forward.
So how do we help you with a campaign to get a ministry?
Well, I'm hopeful that everybody who hears this is able to reach out to their MLA to be able to speak with people that they have in government, and reach out to us to understand what it is that we're seeing and how they can support this work.
I hate to use the word worst, but has this got worse over the years, over the last 5 or 10 years?
Definitely. Just the numbers of the homelessness count that is done by Vancity every other year, the numbers for this particular group. So for seniors, the number of homeless seniors has gone up 5 times in 10 years. That is the biggest increase. And there are pockets of areas in the province where the numbers are even larger. For example, in Kelowna, where large mobile parks are being sold for highest and best value, that are close to hospitals where seniors often lived, and are no longer able to access those units, which were at $535 within their budget. Now the closest thing in that same area is $1,200. So a number of changes between the real estate costs and landlords or mobile park owners selling for highest and best value is causing seniors to become homeless.
Have you got a number of seniors that this affects?
We hear constantly. So at any point in time, we keep getting in, but I couldn't give you a number of the total population in BC because that's not something we have currently.
Well, in the few we've got left on this broadcast, and the people that are listening and hopefully taking notes, what 1 or 2 or 3 things would you encourage them to do that would help you?
Well, if you are a housing provider or a housing developer, allocating a few units for seniors in that building, reaching out to us or other senior agencies in your area to be able to offer those units to a low-income senior would be tremendously helpful. The other piece would be around asking or supporting senior agencies in any way. We've been very grateful over the last 2 months to receive support from agencies like Coast Capital, who has helped us in providing a single unit of shelter in 4 regions of the province. and they've paid for one single unit of shelter in 4 regions of the province for a year to be able to facilitate seniors who are in dire need being able to be housed overnight or immediately. So those are things that would be helpful. If you are an agency or an individual that has an interest in supporting an elder adult, please reach out.
I came across a quote that I wanted to use today. It says, "Your rewards in life are dependent on the service to others." And so you're heading up this service to others but there must be thousands of other people in this province that can come to your help. What one or two things could they do today, tomorrow, over this Christmas season to be a benefit to you specifically?
Well, if there's any way that you can reach out and support us, whether it be either volunteering with us or supporting us with a donation or being able to advocate for seniors in your community, that would be helpful.
And so we're coming to the year end. The tax receipts obviously will be issued.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Alison. I don't envy your challenge, but of all the people that I've met over the years and the lunches we've had, you certainly have the passion, you have the dedication, you have the work ethic to do it, and I wish you well.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your help and support through this year and look forward to 2023. Thank you.
Okay. Merry Christmas to you, Alison.
Merry Christmas, Peter.